Hello, wildlings. I'm your Creep Smith, and you found my Fear Forge. Lucky you. Hello, wildlings. Welcome back. Today's tale of holiday horror is The New Year Won't Be New for Me by AnAverageDevin. This has been the worst year of my life. I found out my girlfriend of 2 years has been cheating on me. I was fired from my job. My dog was kidnapped. And my best friend died in a car crash. Worst of all, however, is that this is the 8th time that I've lived through 2018. I'll start from the first time. It was just before midnight on New Year's Eve. I was alone, of course. I'm not a religious person, but after the horrible year that I had experienced, I was ready to try anything. I prayed to any God that would listen. I wished that I would never have to experience another year like this one. Either the God that listened to me is a sadist, or a demon heard my plea instead. Instead of granting my wish, they're making me live through the worst year of my life over and over. The first time I experienced the loop, I thought it truly was a gift, not a curse. I was wrong. I woke up in my bed like any other morning. Nothing seemed different. And that was until I made my way to the kitchen. I noticed that the layout of my furniture in the living room was different than it had been the night before. And then my phone began to ring. It was my girlfriend, or rather my ex-girlfriend. I had broken up with her after finding out that she was sleeping around with her boss, but then why had her name come up as lover with a heart emoji next to it? I knew that I had changed that a long time ago. About 6 months. So I ignored the call. I soon received a text message from the same number that said, "Hey baby, call me when you wake up. I wanted to tell you I'll be home late tonight. We have to catch up from all the time off during the holidays. Love you." So why was she toying with me? We'd been broken up for 6 months now. I was about to type back an angry response when I noticed the date on the background of my phone. January 1st, 2018. Was this some sort of glitch? Had my phone possibly reverted to an earlier date? Well, there was only one way to test it. I called my dead friend, Ricky. Ricky had died in a drunk driving accident. He wasn't the one drinking, but that didn't matter. He'd gone out himself one night for a little taco trip, but he would never come home. The phone rang a few times before someone picked up on the other end. "Bro, you know how much I drank last night. Why the fuck are you calling me this early?" The voice on the other end said. "Ricky?" I questioned. "No, it's Santa Claus." "Of course it's me. You're the one who called me," he responded. I almost dropped my phone in shock. It was unmistakably his voice and attitude. He was alive again. Was I really in the same year again? I quickly apologized for calling him so early, and I hung up the phone. I ran back to my room to see my other best friend lying at the foot of my bed. I had groggily walked past him without noticing when I woke up. It was my golden retriever, Apollo. He'd been stolen from me the previous year. Someone had broken into my home while I was at work. They took everything of value, including my dog. I basically jumped on him with excitement. He was confused at first, but after a few seconds, he began to play back. This was like a dream come true. I was given the opportunity to fix the worst year of my life. Except I wasn't. I marked down the dates of each terrible event that occurred. I was determined to reverse fate. First would be fixing my relationship. I became the best boyfriend I could imagine. Even Hallmark movies had nothing on me. I began to take my girlfriend on date after date, anywhere she wanted. I surprised her with flowers every chance I got. I loved her with everything I had. But it wasn't enough. No matter how many times I lived through that year, she always cheats. No matter how hard I try, it never matters. Well, I guess you can't change a person. Maybe this was a sign that I was better off without her anyway? So I moved on to focusing on preventing Apollo from being kidnapped. I upgraded my home security. I added cameras, sensors, anything to stop what I knew would happen. I even stayed home the day that he went missing to make certain that he'd stay with me. But once again, it didn't matter. Despite my efforts, my dog gets kidnapped every year. If I stay home with him the original day that he went missing, he disappears the next day. If I try bringing him everywhere with me, the moment I leave him for 5 minutes, he's gone. I could still save Ricky, though, right? Even if I lost everything else, if I could just save Ricky, I could still be a little happy. We'd grown up together, and his death stacked on the rest of my year had driven me to the brink of suicide. I couldn't follow through with it, but it was the closest that I'd ever come to death, even if I had to do it myself. The night Ricky died, he had been alone, so I went to his house that night instead. I brought tacos with me, so there'd be no need for a trip out to get them. Ricky lived for about a week, and then he was once again hit by a drunk driver. Once again, nothing I do matters. Every year I try to save Ricky, and every year he dies. The only way I could see saving him is if I tied him up and locked him in my basement, but I can't do that to my friend. I imagine after this New Year's Eve, I will once again wake up on January 1st, 2018. I'm writing this in hopes that it somehow makes it to the next year, and maybe someone out there can help me. I just want this year to be over. Hey, did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? Stay scary, my wildlings, and make the most of your nights.